Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and yes, we are already somehow in the fall movie season. I can't believe it. This is, of course, the movie preview for September of 2022. Always get very excited around this time of year. You know, a lot of Oscar films, potential Oscar contenders coming out and things like that. And a lot of interesting stuff, I think, coming out this month that I'm very excited to get into. I will let you guys know at the end of this video, you're going to hear a little bit of an announcement regarding this segment of this channel. It's not going away. I'll say that right now. You're going to hear about a little bit more in the coming months, but yeah, I will bring that up right at the end of this video regarding what's going to happen moving forward. But before we do get into all of that, I am going to introduce my guest here. You know, he always enjoy having him on, even if I never understand what he's doing most of the time. But here he is, King himself, Henry Ewing.
Garlic bread.
Exactly. I have nothing. How are you doing?
Good stuff coming out this month. Excited to talk about it.
Yes, very much so. With that said, we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first movie we're talking about here is a movie that actually came out today. Oops, we're doing this on the day that these movies came out. Hopefully you don't see this in like the middle of the month or something like that. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started with this first movie, which is Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul.
Lee Curtis is a talent, a star. Oh, boy.
We can edit around that, right?
This is gonna chronicle the ultimate comeback. I'm Rocky up in this fight.
Rocky didn't win.
But he did win in Rocky 2. Lord, baby, how many times I gotta tell you, get past the first movie? That was all set up.
Okay. All right, so this one, I feel like every month I'm saying this, and I feel like I am just regurgitating what I've said like every month. This is yet another movie that premiered at Sundance in January that was very high on my list of movies that I wanted to see, but I didn't get around to seeing it, and I've heard a lot of really great things about it since then, and I'm very excited for this one. I mean, first of all, Regina Hall and Sterling K. Brown, you put them in anything, I'm going to be very excited. I feel like Regina Hall has kind of had her talents wasted lately. She really hasn't had like that movie to like really showcase how great of an actress she is. And the fact that she seems like she's kind of front and center here gets me very excited. I think that she's going to be really great here. And then Sterling K. Brown, I mean, is just always fantastic in everything he's in. So right off the bat, you know, those two are going to get me excited. But then you kind of make this satire of sorts of these like documentaries about like churches and things like that. And, you know, you see these two characters and they're trying to rebuild their congregation, but there's all these like little scandals going on and things like that. I just feel like this has a lot of potential. It looks very fun from the trailer. I like that sometimes it's a documentary and sometimes it's not. I think that's going to be fun to watch overall. I'm not familiar with the director of this or anything. The director, the only other thing he's directed is actually a short film of the very same name. So clearly he's passionate about this, and I'm interested in seeing how this does end up turning out. I think that, she's very passionate about this, and I'm very excited to see how this does end up turning out. I think it does have a lot of potential for sure. It's also on Peacock if you want to watch it on there. I don't know why they put this movie on Peacock of all of them, but I think it has a lot of potential. So it actually is a movie I'm quite looking forward to. So what do you think of this one?
Yeah, it looks like it could be pretty good. Like, it's got some good names attached on the production side. So, yeah, the trailer looks like it could be a good movie. So, hope it's good.
All right, so Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. If you're looking forward to it, well, it came out today. You can see it now, or hey, wait till National Cinema Day. $3 movie tickets. You really can't pass that up. I think that's going to bode very well for this movie because I feel like more people are probably going to be inclined to see it, especially knowing that, you know, National Cinema Day is a thing. I don't know if I can say that, though, for this next movie we're talking about here. Henry, what is the next movie we are discussing?
It's Gigi and Nate.
My name is Nate Gibson. I've been in this wheelchair since I was 18.
Just jump already!
I was 6 weeks away from college. When I got paralyzed, I had nurses around the clock. And then 1 year ago, my life completely changed.
I'd like to request a service animal for my son.
And that's when I got Gigi.
She's a lot smaller than I thought.
This does... I don't know about this one. This looks like it's some, like, Christian type thing. Like, and... yeah, really does not look that good to me, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this one I am really not excited for at all. I didn't even know this was the thing until I saw the trailer for it before. Fucking E.T. of all things. That is the first time I saw it. Yeah, they showed the trailer for this in front of E.T., which I guess makes sense because I've heard something in the movie about how Gigi and Nate had this E.T. and Elliot like bond where they're like connected or something like that. I don't know. It's fucking weird. But look, I feel like the best way to describe this trailer is you watch this trailer and you hear this really just cheesy song in the background that's like, I know there's gonna be some brighter days, like blaring throughout the entire trailer. It's like it wants you to like feel all these emotions, and I just felt absolutely nothing. It was just it looks so cheesy and melodramatic. The actor Charlie Rowe in the movie that is playing the character of Nate, this character is supposed to be 15 years old, Henry, and this guy is like 26. So like, what the fuck? I don't know what really is going on there. Josephine Langford is in another movie. Hopefully she's good in this. I hope that this is not another after-like role for her, because I think she does have potential as an actress, but it really hasn't shown it yet. Zoe Colletti, what are you doing in this? You are much better than this. Stay in Only Murders. Don't do this. This is not what you need to be doing in your career right now. Yeah, this just looks like every kind of like very melodramatic, like based on a true story movie that you could think of. All the beats are there. It looks very cliche in that way. It just doesn't really look like anything that great. I just can't really get excited for this one. I'm hoping that it turns out to be a better film than I anticipate, but right now I just think this looks so fucking cheesy. But if you guys are looking forward to Gigi and Nate, it does come out on September 2nd. I hope this one ends up surprising me, but we will just have to see. Oh my God. Speaking of movies that I'm really not excited for, we're going to go ahead into the next movie here, which is the next film in the fucking never ending franchise that is going to go on forever. And that is After Ever Happy.
Hardin has so many demons.
I was young, in love, and I was terrified.
But he's trying to be better for me.
I just keep dragging you into my shit, Tess, and it's not fair.
I don't know if I can keep fighting to save him rather than myself. We need time apart.
You can't just escape yourself by moving from one place to another.
I can't say too much about this one because I never watched After We Fell that came out last year. I meant to watch it and I just never got round to it. All I will say is, like, why are these movies still being made? I don't feel like people are seeing them. I don't feel like they have this much of a fan base. I feel like people only watch these at this point for like the meme because they're a thing and like people want to, you know, seek them out to see how terrible they are. And this was supposed to be the fourth one. And recently they announced there's going to be a fifth movie. They filmed a secret fifth movie back to back with this one. And they led people for years. They gaslit all these fans for years, Henry, that this was going to be the last one. And they have another one coming out. And I'm just like, why? Why are you doing this? We do not need more movies about this incredibly toxic relationship and seeing these two go back and forth. I don't need to see more of these two like breaking up because they suck and then coming back together because they're horny as hell. Like, I just don't need to see that constantly. I'm not excited to see how this one plays out. I probably will finally watch After We Fell so I can watch this one, but like, please stop making these fucking movies.
Come on, we love that second one.
Oh my God. Don't get me started. The amount of stuff that like happened that they just fucking abandoned. I'm excited for that as well, because that's probably going to happen again.
Yeah, these movies, I just don't know. Aren't they making like a prequel as well?
Yeah, they are. And I'm like, why? Like, I could understand if like these movies had a solid fan base, and like people were going to see them and they were doing really well, but like they're not doing well. Like they've gotten to the point where these movies are like Fathom events. Like people are not seeing these movies. Why are they
like
still
fucking
making them?
money laundering?
Literally, it's like and then like meanwhile, Josephine Langford and like Hero Finds Tiffin are like trapped in this franchise and they can't do anything else. So like, what the hell? If you're looking forward to this, cool, but I don't feel like a lot of people are like unironically looking forward to this movie, but cool, I guess. Go nuts. I can't wait to maybe watch this. Maybe I never will. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about the next movie here, because I definitely want to move on. I don't want to stay on this bullshit for too long. Henry, what is the next movie?
Robert Zemeckis' Pinocchio.
Hello, Pops.
Jumping jeepers.
An almost real boy.
Turn around. Let me get a look at you. I will be right here when you get back.
Pinocchio is running around loose without a conscience. Can you imagine the trouble he's gonna get into?
Wouldn't want that on my conscience.
Everybody who's anybody wants to be a somebody.
But I want to be real.
Why on earth would you want to be real when you can be famous?
This is obviously the next Disney live-action remake of an animated classic.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, has it?
It's been a while since we had one. The last one was Milan, I think. Or is the one I'm forgetting?
Yeah, I think that's correct. But yeah, this, I don't know if it looks bad, but like doesn't look that good. But I'll probably watch it. It's got Tom Hanks. It's coming to Disney Plus. So yeah, I'm more excited for the Del Toro one.
Yeah, I will preface that right away that like I am way more excited for that one. I feel like that one looks like they're doing something different that we haven't seen before. With that being said, though, like I was expecting to dread this a lot more than I am. The first trailer, I remember I was like, I'm not really feeling this at all. The recent trailer that came out, though, like I'm actually kind of digging it. I feel like it has the heart, it has the imagination. The look of Pinocchio honestly doesn't look that bad. Like if that's what Pinocchio was going to look like in real life, I think it works. Tom Hanks seems like he's going to give a really good performance here, but it's Tom Hanks, so like that's not surprising. It is very much banking on nostalgia. And I've said it before, the logistics of a lot of these like live action, anime to live action Disney films, like I just don't really like that much. But some of them have been legitimately okay. And some of them I just really have not liked at all. This one seems like it might fall into it's decent. You know, it's decent. It's not anything terrible. It's not completely like misunderstanding the original, like say Dumbo, for example, completely misunderstood how to go about that one. You know, I think it has potential. I don't think it looks like amazing or anything like that. But I do think in terms of like Disney live action films, it definitely doesn't look as bad as I feared that it would. I think, you know, we got a pretty good cast here. Cynthia Erivo, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Luke Evans, Keegan-Michael Key. So like there's definitely a lot of talent throughout this film. I hope it turns out to be good. Benjamin Evan Ainsworth, also amazing actor. If you haven't seen The Haunting of Bly Manor, he's fucking phenomenal in that. So I'm excited to see what he does as Pinocchio here. But yeah, I think that this does have more potential than I was expecting. I'm not like hyped for it or anything, but I'm not dreading it in the way that I was. I think it looks like a decent time, and I hope that's what this turns out to be. So if you are looking forward to Pinocchio, it does come out on Disney Plus on September 8th. I hope it turns out to be a good film, but we will just have to see. Now, the next one I'm talking about, though, was actually supposed to be like a mid-August release, and they pushed it back because I think they recognized that this movie is too good for August, and that is Barbarian.
Why don't you just crash here?
Oh, no.
I don't know if you got a great look at this neighborhood, but I don't think you should be out there by yourself. It's dry and there's a lock on the door. By the way, I'm Keith.
Tess.
You take the bedroom, and I'll sleep out here on the couch.
God.
Okay, so this one is really one of those movies that I feel like kind of came out of nowhere. People I think didn't really know what it was at first. And after seeing this trailer, I mean, I am so excited for this film. Very simple premise. You have this woman, she rents a room for like, I think a job opportunity or something like that. And she finds that it's already been occupied. There's some other guy living there. And as she gets further down, into the house, she starts to realize there's someone else that's like chained up within the house, and there's clearly some more stuff going on there. And I'm very excited to see how this one turns out. I think it looks very thrilling in many areas. I really like the cast here as well. I mean, Bill Skarsgård, Justin Long, those two already like excite me, but Georgina Campbell seems like she's going to give a really strong performance here. I'm very excited to see what she ends up doing in this movie. Zach Krieger as a director, I am not like super familiar with his work in terms of like directing, but it seems like he's going to give a really interesting sort of a really interesting spin on this story. I'm hearing from so many people that like this is one of the most shocking horror movies in a long time. People have compared this to like Malignant, so like I don't really know what we're in for with this one. I think there is a lot of potential when it comes to this movie. It looks very different. It looks very original. I've really enjoyed the marketing that we've gotten here, and I really just hope this film does end up living up to the hype. All I've heard about this movie is like you want to see this movie with like the biggest crowd possible. It's very shocking in that way. So yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for this one. I think it has a lot of potential for sure, especially when it comes to like original horror films. It's very hard to construct one, and it seems like this movie is going to do that very well. So easily one of the most anticipated of the month.
Yeah, I think this movie looks very interesting. Like, hopefully it's like very scary and good. And yeah, hopefully, I don't know, like, like, I know like this is a 20th Century Studios film. I remember the trailer for it. Like at the very end, like it had like a screenshot of the logo in there. It's weird, but
it's interesting.
Yeah, like mine was like the Empty Man thing, because that was that they just like dumped in theaters, but hopefully this one's good.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But if you are looking forward to Barbarian, it does come out September 9th. I definitely am very much looking forward to this one. Also coming out on September 9th is something that is another main release that Henry here is going to talk about.
Is Medieval.
Jan, I need your help. Catherine is the last chance to help this kingdom. Her uncle is the King of France. You must unite Europe. Kidnapping her is the only way. We don't kidnap women. The King's rules are God's rules.
I did not hear of this movie until a few days ago, but I'm not... This does not look that good to me. Like, why is Michael Caine here?
Honestly, like out of everything.
No.
Yeah, this is one where I remember this was another one that like they randomly played the trailer for. I don't even remember what movie it was for, but like they randomly played the trailer for this one. It was probably for like, actually, let me check. What movie did they play the trailer for with this one? Fucking Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. They played the trailer. They played the trailer for this before that. Yeah, this looks incredibly boring to me. You have some good actors in here. Ben Foster, Michael Caine, Till Schweiger, Sophia Lowe. Like, there's a good cast in this movie for sure, but it just seems like one of those instances where they are solely banking on a good cast for this movie, because other than that, they really don't have much to show for here. I mean, it's a very like generic story of this guy who was this military commander. He like never lost a battle, and it's like how he became that way. Like, it just doesn't look very interesting to me at all. I feel like we've seen this story done plenty of times before and done a lot better. The action sequences don't really seem like they're going to be all that great. This just seems like one of those movies where like I go to see it and like it bores the hell out of me, and then we get to the end of the year and people are like, what was that movie? And I'm like, I don't know, but I saw it. It seems like that's what Medieval is really going to be. I don't really have much else to say other than hopefully it surprises me, but right now I just don't think this looks particularly good at all. If you are looking forward to Medieval, it does come out on September 9th, along with Barbarian. The next movie that we are discussing does come out actually on a Tuesday, and it's a movie that I am particularly very excited for, and that is Clerks 3.
Saved my life, man. Wish I had a life worth saving.
What are you talking about?
Sit around and watch the same movies over and over.
I always thought you could have made a cool movie.
You're right. I'm living on borrowed time. No more watching movies.
I'm gonna make a movie!
What's the movie gonna be about?
It's about him working here.
Meta.
Everything in the script is something either me or someone I know said.
I'm not even supposed to be here today. Maybe Jay and Silent Bob could be characters.
Jay and Silent Bob are like C-3PO and R2-D2. They've been here since the first movie, which was the last time they were cool. But they've been with the franchise so long, they still give them cameos and put them on the lunchboxes.
Snifty Booches! Please tell me!
All right, so Clerks 3, this one, I honestly forgot that we were getting. I feel like it's been a movie that they've talked about for a long time, and, you know, people have been like, oh, Clerks 3 will come out one day, and it's finally coming out, and I really like what I'm seeing here. I like the premise of this a lot, where, you know, we have Randall, he suffers this heart attack, and he wants to make a movie, which is basically like this meta version of the first Clerks movie. I think that's a really clever way to kind of pay tribute to this entire franchise. But I think it also works as like kind of this love letter for Kevin Smith, because Clerks is really like where he kind of started out. And I feel like this is a good way to kind of bring it all back to that. I loved the part in the trailer where they are blatantly making fun of like the original ending that didn't end up happening for Clerks. I thought that was a really fun moment for sure. The jokes about Jay and Silent Bob, where it's like they appeared, you know, once in the first movie and now we keep showing them ever since. I thought that was, it just seems like this movie's like very self-aware of what it wants to be. You know, everyone's pretty much back for this one, which I think is great. Even Rosario Dawson, they were able to get back, which I'm very happy about. Yeah, I mean, both the Clerks movies I think are fantastic. Clerks 2 in particular, I've always really loved quite a bit. And I hope that this film is able to recapture the magic. I am a little bit worried because if you guys remember, Jay and Silent Bob reboot, I was not a fan of. I thought that movie was very self-indulgent. I got what Kevin Smith was going for, but it just did not really work for me that well. When it focused on like the father-daughter stuff, like it worked, but like everything else, not really. This seems like it's going to do a much better job of being this more sort of like authentic kind of, you know, look back at what the Clerks franchise has been. But I hope it's able to also stand out on its own and be a very worthy sequel. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Similar to Jay and Silent Bob reboot, it's going to be going like all over, you know, it's going to be touring throughout all these different states and things like that. So I'm very excited to see how this one turns out. I feel like it's a movie that people have been talking about for a long time, and it's finally coming out, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So yeah, I hope this one turns out to be really good.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this one. Like, love first Clerks, one of my favorite comedies, and the second one is good as well. And yeah, I'm very excited to see this one. Hopefully, I can. Yeah, I'm probably try to get my ticket next week. So yeah, and I'm. It's cool that they got like the girl who plays Veronica back.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah, she is back.
Yeah, interested to see what happens. Like, is Harley Quinn Smith gonna be in this one? Because
it doesn't say she is, but I wouldn't be surprised if like she made like a cameo of sorts. Also there's quite a few cameos in this movie. Ben Affleck, Fred Armisen, Sarah Michelle Gellar, the host of The Circle, Michelle Buteau is in this movie.
Wow.
So like yeah,
it's gonna be interesting, and hopefully like the tour comes here because like they did for Reboot, but it was a 21 and up venue, and I was only 19, so I
oh no.
But yeah, I still saw the Fathom for that, so
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have the Fathom for like, and he's doing it more days this time. It's on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, it's like
and
for
Sunday.
almost a whole week until like Sunday.
Yeah, which is good. So like if you don't get to see it that one day, like you can just see it one of the other days. But yeah, very much looking forward to this one. I think it's really cool that it's finally coming out. If you're looking forward to Clerks 3, it does come out on the 13th. Hoping it turns out to be really good. All right, so the next one we're talking about, September 15th is a insane day. September 16th is an insane day for movies, Henry. There is so much coming out on this day, starting off with this first movie that you'll be introducing.
The Woman King.
My king, the Europeans wish to conquer us. They will not stop until the whole of Africa is theirs. We must fight back for our people.
Haneska, you are asking me to take them to war.
Some things are worth fighting for.
Don't know.
So, I actually did not hear about this movie until I saw the trailer in front of Bullet Train. But I think it could be interesting. Like, obviously, Viola Davis is a great actress, and this is going to be a TIFF, so I hope it's good.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it was going to be a TIFF. That's actually really cool. Yeah, I think this has a lot of potential for sure. The story itself, I think, is very interesting. It's like it takes place in the 19th century in like this African kingdom. And we get to see this like all female group of warriors, which is a story that I don't think we've heard a lot about before. It's kind of like this whole unit that protected like the kingdom in the 19th century. And Viola Davis is like the leader of that group. And they go against like this enemy that wants to destroy their whole like way of life. I think that there is a lot of potential for that premise, and I think this movie seems like it's going to honor that very well. Just like the culture and everything, like it seems like they're going to do a really good job with. And the cast here, I mean, aside from Viola Davis, is also really good. Tuzo Mabedu, I'm very happy to see her get another role. The Underground Railroad was so overlooked last year. She was incredible in that, and I'm very excited to see her in something else. I think she's going to give a really strong performance here. Lashana Lynch, always like seeing her and stuff. Sheila Adam as well, I think is a really strong actress. And then John Boyega, I'm excited to see what he ends up doing in this movie. I'm hoping that this can be another like breaking for him, where this really like utilizes his talents as an actor. I'm not used to calling that movie Breaking. I'm used to calling it 892, but Breaking is the title now. I don't know why. I wish they just stuck with 892, but that's a whole other different discussion. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he ends up doing in this. And then it's funny, we were just talking about After and how Hero Finds Tiffin is trapped in that franchise, and he's actually in this movie. And I don't know what he's gonna do, but to me, I feel like this is gonna be that movie to show like, does this guy actually have range? Is he actually a good actor, or is he just always just playing this like over dramatic edgelord. Like, is he able to do that? I think this movie will very much be a test of that. The director of this film, I actually never saw The Old Guard, but I've heard very good things about it. I heard that she did a really good job directing that movie, so I'm excited to see, you know, what she ends up doing here. The action also looks really well constructed in this film. I really like what I'm seeing from that. Yeah, this just seems like a really interesting movie. I'm very excited to see how this does end up turning out. It's a story that I don't think we've seen enough of before, and I'm interested in seeing how they end up portraying it in this movie. I hope they end up doing it justice. I did not know this was going to TIFF. That has me even more excited now. So yeah, it honestly is one of the most anticipated of the entire month. I think it has a lot of potential behind it. And if you are looking forward to The Woman King, it does come out on September 16th. Definitely seems like it could be really good. Also coming out on September 16th, though, is a movie that I am particularly very much looking forward to, and that is Pearl.
Please, Lord, make me the biggest star the world has ever known, so that I'll make it far, far away from this place.
Well, caring for your family during these times is admirable, but you only get one take at this life.
If only they would just die.
Pardon?
Nothing.
All right, so Pearl, this movie is another one I feel like we kind of forgot about because, you know, X came out, and one of the things that a lot of people are talking about after X is that there is this, you know, secret prequel that's in development. We don't really know too much about it. We got that teaser of sorts at the end of X. It looked so just weird and out there, and I was very interested in, you know, more about this movie following that, and we finally were able to get a trailer last month, you know, in like the end of July. And my God, this just looks absolutely incredible. I feel like the best way to describe this movie, and I think you'd agree with me, Henry, like X is probably one of the most accessible A24 films. Like people can seek it out who aren't really into that kind of thing, and they'll still really enjoy it. Pearl is for, you know, people who like artsy shit. Like that's what this movie is for. This looks so incredibly just different. What I really like about this, at least from the marketing, they're really trying to sell it as like, you know, the aesthetic of this is something that would have come out around the time that the movie takes place, which is, you know, like around the 19th century and things like that. It's trying to be this like, you know, very glossy, very like artificially colorful, like period piece of sorts, something along the lines of like, you know, like a Rodgers and Hammerstein type musical. You know, it seems like that's something that this movie is really trying to do, but it's under the guise of that, but it's hiding this very dark and like twisted edge to it. I feel like this movie is going to do a really good job of subsequently being this origin story for this character that we're already very fascinated by, but also doing a good job of kind of standing out on its own, kind of showing like, you know, this character that, you know, wants to be loved, she wants to be famous, and what, you know, what really gets her to get to that point. Mia Goth once again seems like she's just going to destroy this role. I can't wait to see what she ends up doing here. There are so many scenes in this trailer that I am just endlessly fascinated by. There's so many things that I want to know more about. It's just one of those movies where every time I see the trailer, I get more excited for it. Like I said, I love how different this looks, especially in terms of like cinematography from other A24 films. It's just so like, you know, the colors and things like that really seems like they're going to pay tribute to that time period very well, but also, you know, be in the point of view of this unreliable narrator and kind of show like what Pearl did to get her to the point that she ultimately is an X. I just think this has so much potential behind it. It's easily one of the most anticipated, not just of the month, but like of the rest of the year so far, ever since it was announced. I can't wait to see how this turns out. And also like really excited that we have a director that built his own franchise. Like nobody told him to do this. This is not a movie that like he was like commissioned to make. He wanted to make this all along. Ty West said he wants to make this franchise of sorts, and he wants it to be one of those franchises where like every film kind of like stands out on its own, but they're all kind of like connected in their own own way. And I think that's really cool. I hope it ends up working out for him because I really like what he's done so far. And for me, I think this movie has even more potential than its previous entry, just because of how just strange and out there it looks, but also just how like compelling and intriguing it is, and also just how fucking horrifying it looks as well. I am just so excited for this one, and the possibilities really are endless here.
Yeah, I remember like the teaser in front of X. That was really good.
Which you can't find like anywhere now. Like they've deleted it like everywhere. I'm very upset. Like I enjoyed watching that even in the shittiest camera quality, but it's gone.
Yeah, I was like very, and then like the trailer came out and it was like, wow, it's coming out 6 months after the first one. That's wild. And yeah, I really like the trailer here. Looked a lot like some like old Technicolor films, and yeah, there's interested to see what T West and Mia Goth are doing, because I know Mia Goth also like co-wrote this, so
yes, she did. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm very
also, it's we're actually going to get reviews of it very soon because it premieres at Venice tomorrow, so that's also something to get excited for.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Pearl, if you're excited for it, it comes out on September 16th. I am just anxiously awaiting for this movie to come out because I think it has so much potential. But the next movie we're talking about is another movie coming out on September 16th. Like I said, there's a lot of shit coming out this day that Henry's going to introduce.
Seeing how they run.
How much longer do you intend to hold us all hostage?
Or is that the idea? Gather all the suspects and interrogate each of us in turn until the mystery's solved?
Marvin Cocker-Norris, overrated playwright.
Celebrated playwright?
Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I can't read my own handwriting.
There was an incident.
I'll kill you.
It's as good as a confession.
Let's not jump to conclusions, Constable.
This is a new like whodunit film from and Searchlight Pictures, and we got a really good cast that includes Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan, and Adrian Brody, among others. And I know like Richard Attenborough is like a character, so it's
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and yeah, I know it looks like it could be a good movie, so I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this one. I mean, right off the bat, any like whodunit always gets me very excited. I think there's a lot you can always do with that concept, but this movie seems like it has such like a fun like energy to it that's really just going to be like infectious throughout the film. The cast here is just off the charts. Watching Sam Rockwell and Saoirse Ronan team up, I think is going to be just something that is just a very blessed pairing. I think that's something that I'm very excited to watch in this movie. The rapport between those two, I think, is going to be really strong. I really like their back and forth in the trailer. But then also Adrian Brody, Ruth Wilson, David Oyelowo, Harris Dickinson, like you said, does play Richard Attenborough in this, which is really cool. I'm very excited to see what he ends up doing in this movie. A significant upgrade from his previous film that he was fucking terrible in, where the crawdads sing. Yeah, I'm very excited to see how this does turn out. Early reviews are saying this is like one of the breeziest like whodunits that they've seen, and I'm excited to see how this does turn out. I really like that it's like, you know, we have this play going on and then someone ends up getting murdered. I just think that this looks like it could be a really fun film. I hope it's able to take the whodunit concept and really kind of do its own thing with it, because it can be very derivative if not handled well. But I feel like we've had a slew of really good ones lately. You know, Knives Out obviously being the prime example, but also The Offer last year, which nobody has seen. Not The Offer, The Outfit this year, which nobody has seen. And I really wish people would, because it's a really great movie. You know, Bodies, I would say was a whodunit. And now this one, I think there's just a lot of potential for how this one does end up turning out. But yeah, I'm very excited for it. It does come out on September 16th, and I hope it turns out to be a really good movie. The next one we're talking about, again, also September 16th, and that is The Silent Twins.
How was your day, girls?
You spoke to me and then it was just less and less, you know?
If there's something you want to communicate, you best say it now.
Jennifer, June, how would you describe your personalities?
I think you might be a bad influence on each other. It might be an idea to split you up for a while.
We will move the girls into special education.
Are you going to say anything?
We'll get them to talk, yes.
Guilty or not guilty?
You need to take care of yourself.
You can at least say something.
You best say it now.
How do you plead?
They shall be institutionalized indefinitely.
All right, so this one is kind of in a similar ballpark to The Woman King, where it's telling the story that I was pretty unaware of. You have these twins who basically they are kind of, they are like ridiculed and, they're bullied throughout their throughout early childhood and things like that. They're very like isolated by the community because of, various like, racist stuff and things like that. And basically they decide that, they've just kind of had enough and they basically stop speaking to anyone except for each other, which I think is a very interesting idea. But then they kind of undergo this like, tragic, they kind of go down this tragic path of sorts. And, I'm very interested in seeing how this movie's going to turn out. Letitia Wright and Tamara Lawrence both seem like they're going to give really good performances here. It seems like this movie is going to be very intimate in that way. It's really going to dive deep into the sisterhood between these two and this very strong bond that they had amongst a slew of just all the hatred and stuff like that was going on. It seems like this film could have, a really emotional core to it that I think is going to be very easy to latch onto. The visuals here look absolutely incredible. It seems like we're really going to get into the mind of these two characters, this like, artistic inspiration that they constantly had. I think they're going to do a really good job with that. I'm not familiar with the director of this film, but I'm excited to see, what she ends up doing with this movie. Yeah, I think this definitely does have quite a bit of potential behind it. This is not a story that I was overly familiar with. And since hearing about it, I'm very intrigued to see how it does play out. I think it's probably going to be very hard to watch at points, but I think it has quite a bit of potential. So I'm definitely interested in this one.
Yeah, this is another one that I hadn't heard of until today, but it looks interesting. I think the trailer gave me a lot of Jordan Peele vibes, so
yeah,
I'm interested to see how it goes.
All right, so if you're looking forward to The Silent Twins, it does come out on September 16th. The next one we're talking about, though, is the only documentary that we are talking about on this list. We don't talk about a lot of documentaries these days, but we restrict them for some really special ones. And I think this is definitely one that we probably should be talking about, Henry. So you're going to go ahead and introduce it.
Moon Age Daydream.
Maybe a temporary reassurance that indeed there is no beginning, no end. And you find yourself struggling to comprehend a deep mystery.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade. And the papers want to know
Ever since I was 16, I was determined we'd have the greatest adventure that only one person could ever have.
Yeah, I am a very huge fan of David Bowie, so I'm very interested in this because, yeah, it's from the director of Cobain, Montage of Heck, which is a great documentary. And, yeah, it is coming to IMAX here, thankfully, so I'm definitely going to try to see it.
Yeah, I don't really have a ton to say about this one, but I feel like this is one that like we would be remiss to leave off the list, especially with the kind of release that it's getting. This is, like you said, getting an IMAX release. It looks very imaginative. It looks very audacious in that way, like you would expect for a David Bowie movie, because this was a very, audacious artist. He was someone who was all about like being very imaginative and things like that. And it seems like this movie's really going to pay tribute to him very well. I don't know a ton of what this movie's getting into. I know there's like, I guess, a lot of like archive footage that we haven't seen before from David Bowie. So I'm excited to see how that all turns out. I think this definitely could be a really effective documentary, hopefully stick out amongst, a bunch of music documentaries that don't really leave much of an impression. This seems like it's doing something really different. It has a very interesting sort of style to it, and I'm very excited to see how it does turn out. The fact that it's getting an IMAX release makes me all the more intrigued to see how this goes down. But yeah, definitely really looking forward to this one. It does come out on September 16th. It's getting like a weird release where it's being released early on like a Monday at 9:30 at night. So if you want to go see a 2.5-hour movie at 9:30 at night, by all means, go ahead. I will probably be waiting until that weekend, but I'm very excited to see how this one turns out regardless. And those are all the movies coming out on September 16th. Getting into the next week, which is September 22nd. That being said, the next movie we're talking about, though, is one that I am particularly very much looking forward to talking about, and that is Don't Worry, Darling.
Security level, yellow. All residents safe and accounted for.
Victory is safe and secure. Here you can live the life you deserve. We can all live the life.
So Don't Worry, Darling. Right off the bat, yes, this film has been quite a hot topic lately amongst a lot of, social media pundits and things like that. There's a lot of behind the scenes drama going on with this movie, and that could very well deter people from looking forward to this movie. But I can just tell you right now, I am not fucking one of those people. Like, not in any way, because this is like easily my most anticipated film, not just of the month, but of the rest of the year so far. I have been so excited for this film since it was first announced. Olivia Wilde's first film, Booksmart, is fantastic. It's a great coming of age film. It does a really good job of, appealing to the generation, but also, adding a lot of interesting, doing a lot, telling the story about this friendship and things like that. It's got, two really great performances, but, and it was a really great directorial debut for her. And to see her go in a much different direction down this more like psychological type path, I've just been very fascinated by this film ever since it was announced. And the marketing, I think, has been absolutely incredible. I love the story going on here where it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like, because I've seen people, I think, misinterpret some of what's going on in this movie on Twitter. It seems like what's going on is Chris Pine's character has created this society. People have like willingly signed up for it, and it's like designed to make people feel more at peace. This more like idyllic community. Everyone's living like it's the 1950s and things like that. And a bunch of strange stuff starts to happen. And Florence Pugh is like really the first person to kind of like call it out. And then we also have this like kind of seems very toxic relationship between her and Harry Styles' character. Really incredible cast here as well, aside from Florence Pugh and Harry Styles, which that enough for reason is enough for reason to get me excited. You put Florence Pugh in anything, I'm going to be very excited to see what she does here. And Harry Styles, despite that 15-second clip, which I am not going to go judge his acting based off a 15-second clip, I think he has a lot of potential here. I think there was clearly something that Olivia Wilde saw in him from the beginning. She said that she initially considered him for this role, before somebody else dropped from it, who is not worth talking about. She did in fact get him to sign up. He was the initial casting choice for this movie, and I think she definitely did see something in him. Olivia Wilde herself is in this movie, Gemma Chan, Kiki Lane, Nick Kroll, and then Chris Pine seems like he's giving such an interesting performance here. We really haven't gotten to see him play a villain before, and I'm very excited to see what he ends up doing here, diving into this character. You know, what is he all about? Why did he decide to construct you know, this entire idea, you know, what's really going on there? I think this film's really going to dive into that very well. I'm excited to see how all of that does end up turning out. I think there's a lot of potential behind it. And like I said, the thrills here, I mean, you just really feel that tension throughout this entire thing. I cannot wait to see how this film does turn out. I'm sure it's going to have a lot to say about, you know, misogyny and things like that, but I think it's also going to say a lot about like conformity and all that stuff. I think this movie's really going to dive into those things very well. The cinematography just seems like it is off the charts here. It's on a different level in terms of a visual scale. Yeah, I mean, I am just anxiously awaiting this movie. Like I said, I know there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this film, but with how great the marketing is and how intriguing this entire premise is, I just can't help but get so excited for this movie. The closer we get to it, the more I am just anxiously awaiting this film. I really feel like this is the film where Olivia Wilde is going to prove just how talented of a director she is. She already has with Booksmart, but I think if this film turns out as well as I think it's going to, I think she will definitely establish herself as one to, you know, really watch out for, despite some of her really terrible comments that she has made lately, some things about this movie that aren't great. I hope that regardless, this turns out to be a really great film, because I think it has so much potential, and I hope it ends up delivering. So Henry, I know you definitely have a lot to say about this one, so go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this movie. Like, I was a huge fan of Booksmart, as you may know.
Isn't that like your most like rewatch movie?
I think like since I made Letterboxd at least.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, since then I've been very much looking forward to what Olivia Wilde does next. Like, she did that one short film with Margaret Qualley for HP that I thought was okay.
Oh yeah, I never saw that.
And this I'm very much interested in. Like, of course, we got the writer from Booksmart, Katie Silberman, back. Looks like they're going to be like a duo or something. And obviously, like, Florence Pugh is a great actress. And yeah, the trailer, I'm definitely gonna try to see this as soon as I can. Like, the behind the scenes shit sucks, but I just hope it's a good movie.
Definitely. Yeah, so if you're looking forward to Don't Worry Darling, it does come out on September 23rd. Like I said, I know this film has had a lot of controversy behind it, but I hope this movie is good enough to where we're able to look past that, but we will just have to see.
It's from New Line Cinema.
Yeah, that's very, very exciting. But yeah, if you're looking forward to it, it comes out then. The next movie we're talking about is a very, very interesting release, I would say. It comes out on the 27th, and Henry, just go ahead and introduce this one.
The Monsters.
I'm looking for a vision, a queen, true love.
What exactly do you want?
Is Herman Munster in there? I knew the moment I laid eyes on you that you were special. I understand if you don't feel the same. I'm just a regular gal living a boring, normal life.
If there's one thing I know, is that the rest of the world melted away as soon as you appeared in my life.
It seems Miss Lily is truly in love.
Oh, come on, you know and I know that we gotta get rid of that bozo Herman Munster.
Yeah, this is a Rob Zombie movie that's going straight to video, and yeah, the trailer, I genuinely like don't know how to feel about it. Looks like it was made in like fucking iMovie.
Yeah,
and I don't know what they're trying to do, but I think it could either be like really self-aware or just like really bad, and hopefully it doesn't suck.
Yeah, I've had a very interesting history, I feel like, when it comes to this movie. I will preface right off the bat, Rob Zombie is definitely a talented director. His style just does not work for me. I think that he has this just very like over the top, like grunge type style. It just has never really worked for me at all. It's hard for me to take him seriously at points. And the thing I do appreciate about this movie is it does seem quite self-aware of that. But at the same time, when I first watched this trailer, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, this looks like a fan film. Like, I don't really know what's going on here. It looks so cheaply made. But I've come to find out from a good amount of people that this does kind of recapture the same tone as the original show. So it seems like that's kind of what Zombie was going for. I will also say Daniel Roebuck, who is playing the Count, seems really good here. Like, it seems like he has the role down pat. He seems like he's going to be like the big standout of this movie. Sherry Moon Zombie, I'm not big on. He puts her in like everything, obviously. Jeff Daniel Phillips, he puts in a lot of things as well. I don't know how either of them are really going to be here. All I will say is that I can definitely see why this film is going directly to streaming, because I don't feel like this is a movie that anybody would really sign off on, especially with just how it looks. Like you said, it looks like a movie that was literally made on iMovie. I very much do agree with that. I feel like that could potentially be what Zombie's going for, but I just don't know if his style is really just going to translate well to this specific film. I feel like the Munsters show, worked because it was a 50s show and it was very quirky and things like that. And I just don't know if that style is really going to work here. We will see how it does turn out. I hope it turns out to be a fun movie. I hope that it can turn me around on Zombie as a director, because like I said, I just have not really been a big fan of him. I'm not denying his talent or anything, because he definitely has it. I just don't think his style really works for me. But yeah, we will just have to see how this one turns out. I initially thought this looked like shit, but the recent trailer, I've been a little bit more like, okay, this doesn't look terrible on, but I also don't know how to feel about it at all. So yeah, if you're looking forward to the Munsters, it comes out on the 27th. To stream, it comes out on VOD, but it also is going to be like a Netflix release. I don't know. It's very confusing. But if you're looking forward to it, it does come out then. Also, a very interesting release is a movie that I think a lot of people did not think was going to see the light of day, but it is in fact coming out. It comes out actually exactly a day after the Munsters, and that is Blonde.
Kiss on the hand.
How'd you get your start?
Maybe.
What start?
In movies.
Quite continental. But diamonds are a girl's best friend.
I guess I was discovered.
Men broke home as girls.
I know you're supposed to get used to it.
And we all lose our charms in the end.
But I just can't.
So Blonde, this is another movie that I know has had a lot of controversy surrounding it. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that I know people have really questioned, like the ethical and, integrity about, the fact that this movie is not really a biopic. It's more of this fictionalized account of Marilyn Monroe's life. I know a lot of people have brought that up. The fact that this movie is going to be NC-17, but Netflix was trying to do everything they can to not make it NC-17, so it could be more like accessible and things like that. But Andrew Dominic was like, no, this movie has to be NC-17. It's gonna, it's not going to work unless it is. All that stuff has been very interesting to hear about. And it was, for a while, something where I just didn't know if this movie was actually going to come out, but it is. And honestly, I think this looks really good. Right off the bat, Ana de Armas, I think looks like she's going to give a really strong performance as Marilyn Monroe. It seems like she has the mannerisms down very well, not just the look, but also just like the mannerisms, the very like lighthearted nature of this character, but also the desperation in her, you know, wanting to be seen more as Norma Jean, her wanting to break away from the Marilyn Monroe persona. I think she's going to do a really good job with. Marilyn Monroe is a figure that I've always been very fascinated by. She had such a tragic life, and any adaptation of her life I've always, you know, wanted to watch, because I think it's a very tragic story, but if done well, it can be very effective in that way. And I think this movie seems like it's going to do a really good job with that. You know, you also have Bobby Cannavale here, Adrian Brody, Julian Nicholson. So I think this movie definitely does have a lot of potential. There's some interesting things going on here, like some of the movies in black and white, some of it's in color. I'm just very interested in seeing how this does end up turning out. I feel like this is going to be a very different take on Marilyn Monroe than we've really ever seen before. It's going to be very like raw. It's going to be very authentic. It's going to be very graphic for sure, obviously because it's NC-17 and whatnot. But I think that this has a lot of potential, and I do hope it ends up living up to the hype surrounding it. Like I said, I know there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this movie, but watching the trailer, I feel like this could work. I really do feel like this could work, and I hope that I am right about that, because I really am pulling for this one. Oscar contender, I don't think so based on all the controversy, but we will have to see how this one turns out, because I do think it looks really good.
Yeah, I'm been very interested in this movie ever since like we first got like pictures of Ana de Armas as Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been a huge fan of Ana de Armas since War Dogs, and I'm think that she's gonna pull this role off very well. And I haven't seen too much other work from Andrew Dominic, but I know he is very acclaimed, so I think it's gonna be good. And yeah, the NC-17 thing is interesting, so let's see how that goes.
All right. So if you're looking forward to Blonde, it does come out on the 28th of September. Very much looking forward to this one. I hope it turns out to be a really good movie, and definitely was worth the wait, but we will just have to see. This next movie, though.
Blonde came out 6 years ago.
What?
I said Blonde came out 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where's
The whole
Frank Ocean?
Yeah, see the whole movie is actually just this. You know, it's sort of about Marilyn Monroe, but it's also going to be about, you know, the production of Frank Ocean's album. That's definitely going to be a big part of this movie for sure. But no, in all seriousness, we got to move on to the next movie here. The last week we're talking about September 30th. A lot of stuff coming out that day. Starting off with a very, very interesting movie, to say the least, that Henry's going to introduce.
Smile.
Oh, God.
Yesterday, a patient in your care died brutally in front of you.
I need to find an explanation for what happened.
It's smiling at me. It's smiling at me.
You're going to die! You're going to die! You're going to die!
Yeah, I remember like hearing that this trailer, that the teaser for this was in front of Top Gun Maverick.
It was so random.
I mean, both the same studio, but that's pretty much it. And then the trailer came out, and I don't know about this one. Like, it honestly looked interesting, but I feel like given like some studio movies, it could kind of suck. So hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah, this one I really just don't think is going to be very good. Like you said, the teaser randomly played during Top Gun Maverick, and it's the most like what the fuck teaser ever. It's literally Susie Bacon's character. She's walking into like a hospital room, and this guy's just like smiling at her, and then you just see a logo that says smile. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, that was not a great first impression of the movie at all. But I gotta say, the trailer has not really sold me on this movie either. Every time this trailer plays, I just have a very hard time taking this movie seriously. I think it just looks kind of cringy. I understand what they're going for, where it's like, they smile in like very tragic situations and things like that. But I'm just hoping that the execution of this ends up working, because I feel like if it's not, we could have another Truth or Dare or earlier this year Choose or Die on our hands. I really could see this going in that direction, because I just don't think this looks very good at all. I will say I think Susie Bacon's going to give a good performance here. I think she's going to be like the saving grace of this movie. There are definitely, the whole thing with this patient and her kind of being traumatized by it and things like that, and that constantly haunting her. I think there's potential with that. But everything else here, I just am not really feeling at all. There's a good cast in this movie. Like, I always enjoy seeing Rob Morgan in things. Jesse T. Usher, Cal Penn, Kyle Gallner earlier from Scream this year. I think it does have like somewhat of potential, but I don't know. I just think this looks a little too ridiculous for my liking, and I think I'm going to have a very hard time buying into the concept of this movie. Like I said, I hope it turns out to be a surprise of sorts, but just given the marketing and things like that, I really am just not feeling this at all. I think this just looks like a really just like high concept, horror film that just doesn't really seem like it's going to work for me. But we will just have to see. I get this trailer a lot, and rarely ever does it elicit anything out of me other than just a groan. So yeah, we will just have to see. It does come out September 30th. I hope it could be somewhat good, but I'm not really feeling it at all. If you are looking forward to Smile, it comes out then. Now, the next movie we're talking about is the other major release of September 30th, and that is Bros.
So what's happening? Didn't you guys have an announcement?
This is a little unexpected, but we are in a throuple situation.
You're in a throuple? Let me tell you what's progressive now. Being alone. I love my life. I love my freedom. I love my independence. That's kind of sad. That I don't want to be in a throuple. I don't even want to be in a couple.
Bobby, I had sex with that 65-year-old.
Jesus, he's ripped.
I know, it's like they injected steroids into Dumbledore. Oh my God, that's Aaron. He's very hot.
Gay guys are so stupid.
I know. But we've been smart enough to brand ourselves as being smart.
It's our little secret.
Okay, so Bros, this is a new film from Nicholas Stoller, actually. And, hearing he has a movie coming out, that always excites me. I think he is a fantastic director of movies like this. But this is a very different movie than what he has tackled before. It is a fully LGBTQ-led cast, which I think is very exciting. I think that's something that seems like, this movie is going to do very well. And you got a really good cast here, Billy Eichner, Luke McFarlane, T.S. Madison. Like, every actor in this movie seems like they're going to give a really strong performance. Jim Rash is in here as well. Dot Marie Jones. So right off the bat, I really do like the cast of this movie. I also like how, the comedy of this, I think, really works well in this trailer. There are a lot of lines that have always gotten at me. The one line that always gets me is when they talk about, they're like, they talk about straight people, and they're like, they had a nice run and things like that. Like, that line at the end of the trailer, I think, is always very funny. There are a lot of like funny lines in that way. I think that, for people in the LGBTQ community, this is going to be a very good film for them and things like that. But it also seems like it's going to be very fun and lighthearted. And Nicholas Stoller, I think, always does a really good job when it comes to, movies like this, telling these like romantic comedy stories and things like that. And I like that he is challenging himself a bit. He's taking on something a little bit different that he hasn't really tackled before. And I'm excited to see, what he really ends up doing when it comes to this movie. I think that it definitely does have quite a bit of potential behind it. Billy Eichner is also writing this movie, so we will see how that does end up turning out. It's going to be a TIFF as well, so that definitely, I think, is boding well for this movie. Yeah, I just think this looks like a lot of fun. It looks very lighthearted in that way. I don't really have much else to say other than I think this looks like it's going to be a really fun comedy, and yeah, we will see how this one turns out.
Yeah, I really like Billy Eichner, so it's cool that he is writing a movie, and I think looks like it's gonna be pretty good. It's cool for the Alphabet Mafia to have such representation. Yeah.
All right, so if you're looking forward to Bros, it does come out on September 30th. Also coming out on September 30th is another movie that I did not think was going to see the light of day, but it is coming out, and Henry's going to introduce it.
That is Hocus Pocus 2.
I have a gift for my favorite customers. Legend has it, it's on the 16th birthday that a witch gets her powers.
Lock up your children! Yes, Salem, we're back!
Yeah, it's been like so next year is the 30th anniversary of the original, and now we're getting this one. I don't know, sequels that are so long after the original, always some hesitancy, but some stuff from like, obviously it's like Disney Plus, so I think they're, and we got the main cat, the Three Witches back, so interested to see how that goes. So yeah.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus is a movie that I always enjoy watching around the Halloween season. I think it's just a very fun movie, but also does a really good job of giving you those spooky vibes and things like that. But also it's just a really fun comedy in that way. But I also feel like it's a movie that worked within the 90s. Like I don't know if it's a movie that would translate as well today. So I have been quite hesitant on the prospect of a sequel, but I have to say, I like that this one seems like it is doing something a little bit different. We're focusing more on like these 3 high school students, and, they're trying to stop the Sanderson sisters and things like that. I think that there is potential when it comes to that here. I am not familiar with really any of the younger actresses in this film, Wendy Peak, Lila Buckingham, or Belisa Escobedo. I think that, they seem like they're going to be pretty good here. It's cool they got Doug Jones back as well. I think that's really cool that they were able to do that here. And then seeing all 3 of these actresses, return to these very iconic roles. I'm excited to see what they end up doing in this movie. Sam Richardson also being in here. Really excited to see what he ends up doing. He's always a really big standout for me with pretty much anything that he's in. The director of this film, I'm not necessarily sure how to feel about. This is the director of movies such as 27 Dresses, The Proposal, The Guilt Trip, and of course, Hot Pursuits. Yeah, so I don't really know how to feel about that. I don't know if that's really gonna turn out well for the movie, but I think that there's a lot of passion behind this. They've spent a lot of time working on this one. I really do hope it ends up working out for them, because I think if handled well, this could be a really fun, sequel, and hopefully could be like a fun double feature for people. Hocus Pocus is a movie that I feel like so many people watch around this time of year. So if Hocus Pocus 2 turns out to be good, this could be a cool double feature of sorts that people regularly end up doing. But we will have to see how this one turns out. I personally am excited for it, but I definitely do have that hesitancy as well. So yes, especially the fact that it's going directly to Disney Plus. They're not giving a theatrical release or anything like that. I don't really know how to feel about that. But at the same time, Disney doesn't have much confidence in anything that isn't a really big IP. So I'm not too shocked. But anyway, if you're looking forward to Hocus Pocus 2, it does come out on September 30th. We will see how this one does end up turning out. Now, the next movie coming out is another possible Oscar contender of sorts, but maybe not. We will just have to see. And that is The Greatest Beer Run Ever.
Hey, Chief, no chance you have a ship heading to Vietnam. 1,700 hours. Tonight? It's not gonna be easy.
But I'm gonna show them that this country is still behind them.
You're gonna get yourself killed over there.
It's like you said, everyone's doing something. I'm doing nothing.
Smuggling beer into a war zone, that's not the smartest thing I've ever heard of. It's certainly not the worst either.
Okay, so addressing the elephant in the room, yes, this is directed from Peter Farrelly, who did Green Book. I still enjoy Green Book. I know that there's a lot of people that don't, understandably. I haven't gotten a chance to rewatch it in a long time, but I still really do enjoy that film. I think that, he did a really good job in directing this movie of these two characters. They're like polar opposites and, learning to understand each other and things like that. This movie seems very different from that one. This is another story that I'm not too familiar with, but I think it does look like it could be a lot of fun. This character where he wants to support his friends serving in Vietnam. He doesn't really know what to do, but when he's in the bar, he basically wants to try to, give them this little piece of home by literally delivering them beer and things like that. I think seems like it could be a lot of fun. Zac Efron seems like he's going to do a really good job here. Very different kind of character for him. I'm excited to see what he does in this movie. Russell Crowe is a big standout. I don't know exactly what he's doing in this film, but I really like what he's doing for sure. So I'm excited to see how that ends up turning out. I think this just looks like it could be a really fun movie if handled well. There's a good cast in here. Bill Murray, Jake Picking, Kyle Allen. So, you have some really good actors in this one for sure. I hope this turns out to be a really fun movie. I think that Peter Farrelly is a good director. I can understand why people are very unsure about whether or not this is really going to work at all. But I think the fact that this is going on to Apple TV Plus and things like that, who have had a really great run lately with movies like this, I have a lot of confidence in them as a distributor. I think that the vibe of what the movie's going for, I very much am down for. I think this looks like a lot of fun. What do you think, Henry?
Yeah, I think that this kind of does look like it could be Oscar bait, but it could be something else, because I do like Zac Efron, Russell Crowe, and Bill Murray. My cousin Zac Efron, if you know, you know. But
yeah,
don't know why Peter Farrelly's still getting work, because I don't know if you know this, but he's done some stuff. But
I have to look into that.
Yeah, but hopefully the movie is okay.
Yeah, if you're looking forward to The Greatest Beer Run Ever, it does come out on September 30th. We will have to see how this one does turn out. The last movie we're talking about here is a Amazon Prime exclusive, but it is one that I think could be a lot of fun, and Henry here is going to introduce it.
My Best Friend's Exorcism.
What's over there? This weird little building where that girl was sacrificed in a satanic ritual.
Let's go in.
Come on, Abs. One more adventure?
Abby?
Jesus, where were you? Where were you?
This is one that I didn't really know about until a few days ago, but it looks like an interesting movie. It's like an 80s set horror comedy, I think. And you got Elsie Fisher in the lead, I think. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. You got Christopher Landon as a producer, so I hope it's good.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. I think it definitely does have some potential behind it. Like you read the premise and it definitely does sound like quite tired, but I think the fact that they're giving it this more like sort of comedic feel to it, I think is really going to work well. It seems like we're really focusing on like this friendship of sorts, and this this party goes down and something goes disastrously wrong, and one of them ends up getting possessed, and basically we see Elsie Fisher has to do what she can to try to save her. It seems like it could be a really fun premise. Like you said, Christopher Landon is producing this movie, and his stamp is like all over this film. Like I definitely feel the vibe of his movies, like just from this, and that's a little bit concerning because he's not directing this movie. The director of the movie is Damon Thomas, and it feels like his, maybe he's going to get outshined by Chris Landon here, but either way, I like what I'm seeing here. I think this could be a lot of fun if handled well. The horror elements themselves look okay, nothing really like amazing, but I like the 80s feel as well. I like that, it seems like they're paying, they're paying tribute to that era very well here. So yeah, I think this has a lot of potential behind it. I hope this turns out to be a really good one, but we will just have to see. If you are looking forward to My Best Friend's Exorcism, it does come out on September 30th. And with that, we are done here. Those are all the movies coming out within September. So before we wrap this up, like I said, I do have a little bit of an announcement. It's not anything crazy, but I will let you guys know that the movie previews that I have done throughout the years, I have really enjoyed getting to do them. I hope that you guys have enjoyed watching this segment and things like that. But I will let you guys know the way that the movie preview has been going from since I started it to now is going to change after this year. It's not going away. We're not getting rid of the movie preview or anything like that, but I am just kind of in a place where I don't have nearly as much time on my hands, and it takes me forever to get these videos done, and it's not fair to you guys. It's not fair to my guests who I get onto these videos, and they're anxious to see when it's going to be uploaded and things like that. So in an effort to kind of, I think, make these a little bit easier for me to edit and things like that, I'm just going to be changing the way I structure these a bit, and I will get more into that as the year goes on. But yeah, that's mainly what I want to talk about. So these last few movie previews of the year will be the last time you see the movie preview in this particular style. I will talk more about what I'm planning to do, as we get further into the end of the year and things like that. But before we do wrap things up, Henry, I'm going to let you go ahead and do your little outro. So go right ahead.
Alrighty, I've been here before. You know where to find me on the Twitters at Henzo Ewing, and Instagram's there as well. I got Henry Ewing on Letterboxd and Serialized and all that jazz. And want to hit me up, you can do it. But if you want me to stick a picture of John Quincy Adams up your ass, I won't do it because that's weird. I just found a sticky note that said that. I don't know what it means.
I just don't even know. What the fuck? You will have to show that to me after this. But either way, always enjoy having you on. But that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Can't believe the year is like very close to wrapping up. We only have 4 months left of 2022. But I'm hoping that this can be a really strong like last half of the year for movies, but we will just have to see. But other than that, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you guys in my next video, and we will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.
Bring